All right, Griot Seed Talk. This is, I have these special installments. I have the installment with my man Terrence. When we talk about relationships, and it's always good to get a woman's perspective. You know what I'm saying? And it's really good specifically to get a black woman's perspective when we talk about relationships. So it's Griot Seed Talk. We got the regular Seed Talk. You know what I'm saying? Griot Seed Talk, and we got relationship talk and whatever. But today I wanted to chop it up with Keyshia real quick. I'll let her introduce herself real quick because I'm a big supporter of her platform, her podcast, Dating Satan. We're gonna get into that. But go ahead and introduce yourself.
I am Keyshia Car, host of Dating Satan podcast on oneinstitutionmedia.com. You can go to oneinstitution.com to check out my show, Logic Show. It's about 10, 15 shows. I also have a nonprofit credit literacy company. I just released a book and published a book in April. Everything high school students need to know about credit. It's available on Amazon. And I
Mm.
have the boss line. And I'm dating Satan, literally.
Oh wow, shots fired. Give it up for Keisha. All right, man. We ain't gonna get into that, man. We're not gonna get into specifics and details of current relationships, situationships, and whatnot. I wanted to talk about, and let's get into it. Make sure y'all is liking this video wherever platform y'all on. Make sure y'all following both of us. She gave her handles up. Y'all know what my handles are. Logic Guy Man on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Quotes by Logic on Instagram. The Logic Guy Man on Twitter. I'm even on TikTok. Hit me up. You know what I'm saying? I do the skits. But um what I want to do is I just want to dive into it, man, because I have this theory.
Okay.
And my theory is if men and women had equal access to opportunity, power, and privilege, that they would operate pretty much the same. And, me being single for the last 10, 11 years, I was married for 12. When you get out here and you're starting to date, and when you provide opportunities for the person that you're dating, for me, because, I'm a straight male, when you provide opportunities for that woman, specifically black women, to um, have access to the same power and privilege in the relationship as much as possible, then you start to understand that men and women, when dating, have a lot more in common than they do. That's different. And when I talk to people about this, they always be like, "Give me the low." They start squinting their eyes. I'm like, "Yeah, I know I'm the sun. You ain't got to squint your eyes though. I know it's bright, but just think about it. Especially if you create an atmosphere and a climate in a relationship where there's trust, a lot of real stuff and real honest, truthful stories come out during pillow talk. And
That's
you be
true.
like, word? Girl, you did that? And you did that? I thought that's what men only did. You cheated how many? And you did what? What? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? What you find out is that and when they were in their relationship, there never was a safe place to talk about those things. So it almost becomes a therapy session when you create a safe place. People start to really, and they don't feel like they're going to be punished or judged or shamed by their stories. You start to really, really realize that, what I'm saying, we have a lot more in common, and it's like the perception is like, oh, yeah, men is the only ones that, out here trying to smash. No, women are trying to have sex too. There's a lot of women out here that are trying to have sex with no strings attached. You
That is
think that every single woman that's having sex with these dudes that they want to be in a long-term relationship? No,
that,
they pick and choose just like men. Like, and women are embarrassed to be around certain men in public that they didn't smashed on the under.
nah, not me.
No, it exists though.
It exists.
Especially when black women are dating outside their race. There are a lot of black women. It's very common that will, have romantic relationships, sexual relationships with specifically, let's say, white men, but they ain't trying to come out to the public. They ain't trying to take them to a Moja Fest or the Black Community Festival.
But and that's the difference with men and women. So when a black guy dates outside of his race, it's like he's not shamed, he's not embarrassed, he's putting her on the forefront like it's his trophy. But then women get a different type of response from the
Exactly.
community in general. When a black woman is with a white guy, it's like you do have to hide it because you get a bunch of negative feedback. Look at the things people say about Venus and Serena, you know.
Right.
I think that's part of it, but I feel like why should you be shamed? Because black men do it all day. So
Yeah. Yeah.
if if I decided to date outside of my race, I wouldn't treat him no different than I would treat a black guy. We going out, we hanging out, we're going to the black clubs, we're going to Miami on South Beach. Everything I would do with a black guy.
Yeah. And yeah. So we saying the same thing. I'm like, if there was an equal playing field, we talked about this earlier offline.
Yeah,
If there was an equal playing field, we'll see that women are behaving and operating the same as men.
that's true.
Women now in your experience with your homegirls, and we can even talk about you too. Every single man you are romantic with and have sex with, you ain't trying to be with.
That is true. Like I went through a phase because I was in a relationship for 12 years where I knew
Mm,
that,
same here. It's called
yeah,
a marriage.
I knew for a span of time I didn't want anything serious. Like I knew
Right.
I was adjusting to motherhood and I couldn't give a guy what he would fully need to be committed and to keep his attention because I was a mother first before I was a girlfriend or a wife. So I knew I was just in a I'm having fun phase. Like
Right.
I would tell guys, if you're looking for a girlfriend or you're trying to get attached, I'm not the girl for you. If I felt like you were starting to like me too much and catching too many feelings, I'm out.
Mm,
I
hmm
had made up a conscious decision in my mind that I didn't want anything serious. And I was
hmm
honest about it. That's not what I'm looking for.
Right. And that's cool. And I don't think a lot of people are honest. And I think a lot of times women they get into relationships because they already start as a deficit as a woman in this society. We talked about this earlier. A lot of times women get with men to have access to certain power and privileges and resources.
I would say I didn't get with my dude because I wanted access, but I would
Right.
say that it has opened a lot more doors. We do business together, then I have
Yeah,
my
yeah,
own. But I've noticed, like, just being honest, when we meet people of other races that may be married or not married or older white men, they love the thought and they're more eager to do business with me and him, with
yeah,
him. And it's not even our business. They're more apt to do business with just me and what I do with my business because they see us as a couple.
yeah.
Like literally, I was yesterday, guy owns a company, he's worth a few million, and probably in another world, he probably wouldn't even look at me, give me conversation. But because of my dude, he's connecting me to other people who have business, who are influential, that are powerful. But if it was just me, he probably wouldn't look at me. Or if he did, it would be more of a hi, not thinking I'm gonna do business with her. So I do think it being in a relationship or the two being one in multiple eyes does help for me, at least with business. It has made a tremendous impact.
But yeah. So yeah, thanks for that story. And to piggyback and add on to what you were saying, that's what your relationship evolved into. However, you got to understand that there's a lot of women that that's what they seek because with a man comes credibility, security, and protection. So that's like top priority. The top priority isn't if I even like this dude's personality. The top priority ain't even if this dude treat me right. The top priority isn't if I'm physically attractive to him, if he's good looking. The top priority is if I have access to resources, credibility, and protection. And that's messed up. Because if women were allowed to have the same freedoms that men often have collectively, then a lot of these ugly dudes, and I'm gonna say ugly dudes
Definitely.
because I'm speaking on behalf of these women that said he's ugly. And they try to sophisticate it and romanticize it, talking about looks don't really matter. No, man, come on now, cut it out.
But you
If
know what?
you have the choice, you would not have chose him, but you chose him because he checked other boxes.
But it goes opposite for men. Some men will date a woman because she's pretty, but she's a box of rocks. It's like
Exactly.
he'll have
Absolutely.
his arm, and he thinks he's a trophy. And then it's like when you see them together, he's like, oh, they're pretty together, or they look nice. And then when you start talking to her, you be like, oh my God. Like my first thought is he got to be tricking with her, or he has to be spending money on her, because it's nothing else she could offer him and they could offer each other. Because I can't even have an intellectual conversation with her for 2 minutes. So I don't know how.
Right.
Either he got to be just as dumb,
Yeah.
or it's just literally. And I
About as smart as a bag of blank notebooks.
Yes, and when I see guys who are intelligent and then they have a box of rocks as a woman, but she's pretty, I instantly think he has low self-esteem.
Right. Now let's clear up a little bit something. Now, you hear this quote a lot, and I'm gonna go ahead and be forthcoming and transparent about my biases. I think this is pseudoscience. People be like, men are more visual than women. Women like good looking men too.
I wouldn't say that. I have more of a preference of height.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I'm
That's
more,
still a look. That's still a visual though.
yeah, but
Height is definitely a visual.
yes, and
It's
then
not like y'all playing on the same basketball team and you need a taller dude because he's
but
gonna help you score more points and get more rebounds.
like say I meet somebody on social media, right? Just an example. And I can't see how tall he is, but I can tell from his post that he has a lot of intellect, and I can tell he's educated. I'll be more attracted to that. Even if I'm not really attracted to his facial, I like his thought process. And I think to myself, can I
Men
build?
do the same thing. It's called a big booty.
I've learned
They
that
will get with a woman who's not as good looking as another woman if that booty is bigger than the woman who is better looking. That happens a lot.
or bigger breast or
Yeah,
nice.
exactly. Or curves or a better body.
I and
So
this is
when you calculate it and you keep score, I mean the game is dang near tied and it's going into overtime. We're
I
more
still,
in common than we're not, because people want what they want. They want their way in relationship, and that's what brings us together and makes us more common than different.
but do you think that most educated men will take a uh attractive woman who's not as smart versus a woman who's beautiful, and she'll take a ugly dude that's not smart, or vice versa? I
I
think
think both men and women use their intellect. I think if it's a man who's really smart and the woman's not, he's going to use his intellect and intelligence and education to compensate for her lack of education and intelligence, and he's going to bank on the good looks. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and choose the one who's better looking and attractive because I can compensate and sometimes overcompensate for her being, not as, about as smart as I'm saying, a box of blank notebooks.
I've been in that position where I had a homeboy, his girl was a box of rocks, but then when it was like, oh, the guy's gonna do guy things and the female's gonna have girl talk, it was like, without him standing alone, having to be with another group of females who were educated and intellectual, it was like she felt awkward, and we were just sitting there like, okay, let's talk about Sesame Street, something she could relate to.
Right.
Like they have to stand on their own, and the man isn't there. It's like, ooh, or vice versa. Like it's been guys who date up, like they intentionally seek to date up, especially if it's an older woman who's over 40 and she's successful and she has a business, or she's a doctor or a lawyer, and it's like all our colleagues around her have families or a husband. She will date down for looks. It's like, okay, he looks good on my arm. He may not be the smartest, he might be a felon or whatever, but he looks good. And now it makes me look, like you said, more stable, more protected, more aligned with my colleagues.
Secure.
Yeah, it makes me more
Hmm.
aligned with my colleagues, because a lot of times women are concerned about what other people think around them, their perception.
Based on looks.
Not even
based
based,
on how it looks,
yeah, based
right?
on how it looks. Like,
Yeah, so that's why I said it's a pseudoscience. So women are visual. They know what looks good and what doesn't look good. Shoot, y'all in the mirror just as much as
not
us.
not necessarily from a physical, but from a perception
You know
of
what I mean, man. Visual is visual though. See, we
no, but
can't we can't limit visual. We can't just be like, well, I meant the other kind of visual. No,
no,
visual is visual.
no, saying it in the sense of, okay, say I'm a successful doctor at
Hmm.
whatever age, and I'm by myself. The first thing most people are going to think is she's successful, but she has to be miserable or lonely or
Exactly. Or bitter because she ain't got a man.
yes,
Hmm.
it's that. So a lot of times women go get, for they won't have that perception perceived about them from others around them, they'll go get anybody just to say they have somebody.
Right. Exact. See, see. But if they had the power and the privilege to do it, they would do it just like men do it. You know what I'm saying? Look, here's the deal. Sexism and misogyny is real. You know what I'm saying? There's biases that impact women more than they do men because this is a male dominated society. You know, stuff is changing slowly but surely. But me as a single man and being successful and say I make good money, feel me? There's gonna be a little bit of chatter behind my back if I'm single. There's gonna be that little bit of a chatter of, oh, he's a player, he's a hoe, he's probably a slut, he's got commitment issues, but he gets the job done. That's pretty much where it's gonna stop, and it's gonna fade away into ether. You know what I'm saying? But with a woman, it's lingering, especially with a black woman. Oh, you know, she bitter. You know, what she really needs is just that she needs a man. Very rarely, if ever, do you hear a successful black man being told, you know what his problem is? He just need a woman. Mm,
That's true.
nah, you don't
But
really hear it that much. You
in
know what
my
I'm saying? This, but what I'm saying is this, and that impacts a lot of stuff because if women had the same power and privilege and in that regard and didn't weren't shamed for being single, they would do it just like men
and that
and
was I'm
have things on their terms, just like Oprah got things on her terms. You know what
and
I'm
that's
saying?
say, I think for me, like you just met me. So if you ever go look back at my social media, even my memories are just, people will say they're surprised I'm in a relationship. Because most people say that I kind of have a mindset like a dude. Like I just told you, I didn't
See,
have a relationship. I was very
see,
forthcoming, even on my social media. Like my attention span is maybe 30, maybe 90 days. It takes a lot to keep my attention. I kind of feel like I created my own lane, and whoever can think whatever, I'm doing what I want to do, and either you can ride with it or not. But I take the role of not necessarily a man, but I put myself in a position where I'm confident in where I'm at.
see. I think specifically for black men and women, we need to stop that. We need to stop that gender assignment. Oh, you think like a man, you know, act like a woman. No, you either think healthy or you don't. You are either mature or you're immature or you're somewhere in between. You know, you're either assertive, you're passive, you're alpha, you're beta, whatever words you want to use in all the journey that exists between it, and stop all this gender stuff because it just doesn't hold up. Let me give you another one. Like when men and women date, it's often, oh yeah, women, they're more emotionally mature than men. No, they're not. That's just not true. It depends on how you were raised,
I
not with the sexual organ you were born with.
I agree.
Now, I will say this: specifically black women are more emotionally available. Yes, I agree with that. But that doesn't mean they're more mature. Sometimes that means they're more emotionally immature. And the same with men. It's a toss up. You black men and women go into relationships with the same emotional, starting point. You know what I'm saying? I want what I want. I need what I need.
But
And we have different needs and wants. And I may act up and be emotional if I don't get what I want. That's
that,
true for men or women. We just exhibit and express it in two different ways.
I think that for women, especially over 35,
Hmm.
when we start dating, not we, but most women, I'm not gonna say everybody, we date
Hmm.
with the intent of a relationship or marriage, where
because
sometimes,
that's more secure
yeah,
for
more,
you.
but guys
Yeah.
will just date that one guy and see if it
Okay.
blocks something. Whereas
Hmm.
guys will date 2, 3 chicks and see which ones fall off and which one is really the one for him.
A
They're
lot
not.
more women do that than you trying to admit right now too. A lot more women do that.
I do it.
Women be having rosters.
Like
Now see, look,
so I
let
get
me
it.
okay, let me put something into context. I agree with what you said. Now they might date one dude at a time, but their inactive roster is in full effect.
I
Like if
agree.
this dude mess up, I'm going down my roster. I'm pulling dudes off the bench.
And I'm gonna get and
Come on, cut it
I'm
out now.
I'm very personal. So every, people know I have a situation.
You
Whatever.
in a relationship, so I ain't even gonna get you like that right now. I'm not even gonna do that. I'm not.
Okay,
And I
whatever.
know it's true.
But
Y'all got rosters. Y'all may date one at a time,
I was about to
but
say that.
y'all doing the same thing that men are doing. If you date one dude and I'm only gonna date one dude, I ain't messing with no, but that only lasts a week, and then you on to the next guy the next week. You doing the same thing that a dude does who's dating multiple women. You just splitting it up into intervals.
That's true. That's it. And I'm gonna say I'm gonna give myself as an example. Like, I posted a picture on Facebook yesterday. And even though people know I have a situation or don't have whatever we're gonna call it, they were ready to go on the roster. They were ready, like,
See,
to
see,
coming to Miami to see me. One guy asked me to come out of town this weekend. Like,
and
they
that's attractive, is it not? See, that's what I'm saying. See, here's what people got to understand: men and women are different, not based on what they do, but what they think they want to do. Because not everything that a woman wants to do, she's able to do it because it's not safe. But the point I'm trying to make is she wants to do it. But the society is such jerks and a-holes towards women is that they tell her she can't do it. And then when she does do it, they're going to shame her or they're going to punish her. So she's like, I'm just trying to be safe. I really want to do it. I really want to go and smash this dude with no strings attached, with no puppeteer. But if I do it, I know everybody and their mama gonna be talking about me, and I can't walk into church the next day. So I'm not gonna do it, or I'm gonna have a contract. Hey, please don't tell nobody. Man, men ain't gotta do that stuff.
and I'm just gonna be honest. For me, it's hard for me to relate to that because I'm
Right,
confident and I don't give a fuck. What, like, I'm
right.
people gonna judge you regardless. If I'm doing good, bad, they talking about me. So I do what makes me happy. It makes me comfortable, and I live in my truth. If I decide to smash you tomorrow and be like, I ain't talking to Logic no more, do you think I give a fuck what everybody else thinks about us, man?
Right. No, I hear you. No,
You
but
know,
there's a lot of dudes like that too.
yeah, I'm just different. So
It's a spectrum.
yeah, it's just hard for me to relate to me people caring about what other people think because at the end of the day, nobody's opinions ever pay my bills.
Yeah, men are conditioned to think, and everyone around men who, what I'm saying, praise and celebrate men and worship men, you know what I'm saying, are made to think that you're supposed to be out here, on the prowl, being a predator, trying to smash and conquer as much as possible. And that impacts the way we look at how men and just human beings are just natural when it comes to sex and sexuality.
That's true.
I will tell you, based on being an educator, working in a school, a lot of men have sex prematurely that they're not even ready for, but they do it so people won't think they gay or they weak, or a female. But a lot of dudes, if they had it their way, it will be more consistent to how women do it too. Yeah, man, I'm not really ready. I'm scared or I don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? A lot of dudes is going in, and that's why a lot of sex is really bad. Let's just keep it a kilo. Because dudes are just trying to smash and conquer something.
And that's
And they're
true.
not putting the time. They're going in, they're smashing because they're trying to meet this criteria. You know what I'm saying? Fill up this check box in this rubric. And they're going in there smashing it. And it's over in 2 minutes
But
or
sometimes,
less than that because
sometimes,
they don't know their body. And the women don't know their bodies.
yeah, but
And then
sometimes
the women ain't getting no enjoyment out of it either. That's it. That impacts why they don't want to do it as much because the men don't know how to please them. There's a lot of women who've never had an orgasm, like in their 30s and 40s. Sometimes women go their whole life without having an orgasm. You know
No.
what I'm saying? And it's because we apply these stereotypes and we've been socially conditioned, but we're human beings. We all start from the same ice cream cone in our hand. And if Keyshia or Logic knocks it out of your hand, that 5-year-old girl and that 5-year-old boy are both going to cry.
That's true.
You
But
know what I'm saying?
I think it sometimes it's not even smashing. Like I've had guys that I've talked to on the phone a couple of times, might have went out and had a drink with. Then I found out, oh, he told somebody I used to date. No, we went and had a damn drink. Or he used to fuck with you. No, we talked on
See,
the phone a few
yup,
times.
yup,
We went out.
yup,
He didn't smash. I didn't smack. We didn't do nothing. We had
yup.
sometimes guys want to be attached to a chick to be like, oh, I bagged
Because they want to,
her. We hung out.
yeah. And you know why? It's the pressure of not being lame. No, I'm serious. I don't know if you know about this, but in the guy circle growing up, there's always this dude talking about, yeah, I smashed that, I hit that. For real? Who? Oh yeah, you know Keyshia. Keyshia who?
That's true.
Man, you ain't smashed no Keyshia. I know Keyshia. No, not that Keyshia, the other Keyshia. What Keyshia, dude? There's only like 3 Keyshias. I know you ain't never smashed because I asked him. No, the other one that went to Sycamore Academy. Sycamore Academy ain't even a real school, dude. So we make up these stories. That's why when dudes go out on dates with you, you know what I'm saying? They're like, oh yeah, I used to talk to her. I used to be with her. You know what I'm saying? No, you didn't, dog. You went out on a date with her, bro. Stop lying. But
We
you
hung
know
out.
what?
Look, we hung out.
Depending, but you know what? Depending on the dude, ladies do that too.
That's true.
I've been a survivor of that. Oh, you know what? Me and Logic were together. My best friend was like, how come I never met you? Stop lying.
That's just man. It happens.
Feel me?
Everybody talks to somebody when you start talking to them. Like, oh, I used to talk to them. Oh, where did y'all go? Why y'all never posted up?
Exactly.
Why not? No, y'all hung out. Y'all talked on the phone. It's a difference.
Right. And you know what another thing is? When we talking about dating and we talking about relationship, now this acts out differently when it comes to men and women. And a lot of my brothers, man, I'm really embarrassed because they be making me look bad and rest of the men. But rejection, you know, there's a lot of brothers that get real, real mean and violent when they get rejected. And it's like, feel me? A lot of men get that stereotype like it's only us. Women, when they feel rejected, man, they be mean too, but it
I'm
just acts out a different way.
I mean, I'm not gonna even when I get like I'm going in. I don't want to talk to you. I'm blocking you on everything.
Exactly.
I might go
See?
and I'll be honest, I might go date your friend or a dude I don't know you don't like.
See?
I am that. I'm honest now. Play
Yeah, see? See, this is what comes out. That's why I wanted to talk to you by listening to your podcast. I was like, let me get Keyshia because she gonna spill all the tea. She gonna let us all up in the beehive. Thank you. And
hey.
I'm gonna let you in the man cave. Let me tell you a story real quick.
Okay.
This has happened about, and I know. See, I gotta date myself just for obvious reasons because people be like, "Oh, that happened last week." No, no, cousin, this happened about 10 years ago. So I was working at this spot, and I started, saying talking and dating this one, sister there, this woman, you know. And we went out, a couple of times, or maybe I came over her house a couple of times. We was just chilling and whatnot. We had but we worked together. And so it came to a situation where, we was, being romantic and whatnot and engaged and stuff, you know, and it was coming to the resolution, like what we gonna do. And she was just, she asked me, because when you in a mature, responsible relationship or situationship or interaction with another adult, it's going the consent is going to be very, very, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Obvious. It's going to be overt and ain't nothing corny about it. You can still be sexy and consensual. She's like, so what's up, man? You trying to do this or what? And And I was like thinking about how we work together and how that I said, you know what? I'm not sure and I don't want to do this. So she just kind of just laying there. I got up and I left. Do you know I got a series of text messages the next day? And this woman was like, you just treated me like a piece of meat. I feel objectified. You just came over and what? How, Sway? How was this? You asked me if I wanted to do, and I said, oh, so this is what it is. You feel rejected. And you feel like I was punishing you and hurting you by not giving you my body. So you want to hurt and punish me. And that would, and you know what I told her? I told her this is scary. That's scary. Because I mean, what if you said some other stuff? So it opened my eyes, you know what I'm saying? So I know that men, I know brothers do some stuff when they get rejected. I didn't see some videos online that's absolutely gross and disgusting. You know what I mean? Just doing, and some men actually kill women on
Yeah,
the spot. You know what I'm saying? But it's important to know that rejection don't feel good whether you male or female. And there will be some repercussions sometimes if you reject a woman for real,
that's true.
you know? And that comes down to that emotional immaturity, man. Like people got to be mature, you feel me?
That's true.
So, you just kind of staring at you like
I'm
you
thinking,
trying to process that story.
I am processing it like, yeah, she probably thought she was like a hit it and quit it. When you were looking at it like just casually having fun. Y'all got romantical a couple of times, where she was looking at it like, oh, I want to date him seriously. I want to be with him. She wanted more.
Right,
She was more emotionally attached than you were. Because sometimes guys can have sex and it's nothing to them. But a woman is like, I gave myself to you.
right,
Especially when you
right.
feel like you're
Now I
fine.
will I will agree with that. I think the desire between men and women is pretty much the same to have sex. But I think, I it's a unique experience for a woman because you're entering them. You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, for the most part. I mean, there's multiple ways you can have intercourse or sexual intercourse, but you know what I'm saying. And I think the social conditioning it teaches women how to process their thoughts and how they see sex differently too.
Yeah,
But and then there's also all kinds of different there's a safety protocol that when it comes to women, like I said before, because you're entering her and her reproductive organs and all that stuff. But I don't agree with. I think that the numbers are way too close to call, but I think that men, it's just a different set of emotions, are just as emotional as women when it comes to sex. It's just
I,
a
I
different set of emotions.
I definitely agree. Just based on like a recent experience, I've never had a guy be just as emotional when we get into it or with sex or anything. And it was like he's emotional like I am. It was a hard balance because I'm used
Yeah,
to. I'll be honest. I normally date assholes, so I think I kind of like the coldness about an asshole. So that way, I mean, my personality is kind of like I don't care sometimes. So having
right.
don't care too is like
It's more work to care, Keisha. It's more work. It is.
it is.
And we
And
already got enough on our plate, man. I ain't trying to work even more harder. I just think that men are conditioned and very good of covering up their emotions more. But you can tell how a man gets jealous after you have sex as in comparison before y'all had sex. You know he's emotionally attached.
that's true.
Definitely. It's just a different set of emotions. You know what I mean? And not to mention how men are, well, women are like this too, but how men be trying to put hands on you after y'all didn't have sex, or if you don't give them sex. But that goes back to my original theory. It's the same thing. Like once you start having sex with a man or a woman when you're dating, you increase the likelihood that hands will be laid,
Mm,
depending on the maturity. of the
That's
person, not depending on their gender or the sexual organ they were born with and identify with.
that's true.
You know what I mean? It's like, but you know what's crazy is, I didn't dated some women and we didn't even have sex, but you can just already tell what's it gonna be like if you do, and you want no parts of that.
And that's the thing with me. I warn people, like, I'm very cold. So if I let you in and I let my guard down and you fuck me over,
Right.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I listen to dating Satan, and yeah, about calling a man's job like that, getting that man fired.
Listen, people have to understand when I say dating Satan, I didn't say that I wasn't Satan before.
No, I no, no. You make that very clear. It's a very objective and a very good show. I mean, I'm serious. Man. Y'all need to check out Dating Satan. Go ahead wherever you get your podcast from. Okay, whether it's what we on? We on
Google,
Anchor or you on iTunes?
Google.
Man, go ahead and get that follow of Dating Satan because it's so objective. It's so real. Keyshia, I'm gonna go ahead and give them a snippet. Keyshia told me and her listeners, this man FaceTimed her with a gun to his head. Did you think that Keyshia tried to talk him out of it? No. Keyshia definitely told him, oh, well, hey, if that's what you want to do,
Don't be
that's
messing
what you're going to do. And she
with
hung up on Keyshia, please tell me that's not the whole story. Tell me, please tell me that you called someone in whatever state this man was in and told them to call 911 and gave that man number out so that the suicide hotline can contact him.
I know. I was like, knowing his personality, he does a lot for my attention.
Yeah. No,
So
I hear. That's what I figured too.
he
In all
wanted
seriousness.
and he wanted a way to wheel me back in. Like,
Exactly.
he
That's
wanted
abusive. That's very abusive.
yeah, he wanted some sympathy. Like he wanted me to be like, oh no, baby, let's work it out. Stop, put it down. Okay. He's still alive. He wanted it was a way to bring me back in because most women are empathetic. So he wanted my empathy.
Most people should.
Yeah, he wanted my empathy to get back inside,
Right.
to get, inside to me.
Right.
No, I've played those games with you before. So
Right.
now I know it's a pattern. So
Right.
I'll play the pattern with somebody else. I hope
You
you
know
got
what I know? You know what I noticed about that story though? And when I was going to therapy, and just me as an educator, and I used to be a family preservation therapist myself, one thing rang really true and clear is that once abuse starts, and then both people are doing it, it's hard to figure out where it started and where it ended.
that's
Because it starts to be recycled. You know what I'm saying? Because of course, it's the whole thing of hurt people, but most importantly, people start treating people not how they want to be treated, but how they were treated.
that's
And
true.
that's where it becomes dangerous. Like, oh, what I mean, you didn't give me the same, what I'm saying, pass. So I ain't gonna give you a pass.
But you know what
You
I
know what I'm
really
saying?
when I get to a point where I don't want to hurt you and I don't care if you hurt me, that's when
Hmm.
I'm done. When nothing you can do can affect me, it's like, yeah, I'm done with this because he could say whatever he want. They can do whatever they want. They can call me whatever, do whatever,
Hmm.
and it doesn't move me, and I'm okay with it. And I'm just sitting on the phone or looking at the text messages, like, okay, all right. I know it's just like I think it's worse for me to get to the I don't give a fuck stage than be hurt.
Hmm.
Because when I get to the I don't give a fuck stage, is nothing you say can hurt me. So it's like you wasting your time and energy. That's the point you never want to get me to is the I don't give a fuck stage. I rather you
Yeah, I don't think you want to get anyone to that point because not caring is the one of the worst dispositions of living. Like when
yeah.
someone who doesn't care is scary.
I literally I was in a situation and they worked late and I would normally talk to them on their way home from work because I care and I know they would be tired and I want to make sure they made it home safe. And I told them once I got to the point where I don't care, I was like, whoever you messing around with, had call them. Let not see how much they care. Because clearly
Exactly.
calling me and then at 4 or 5 in the morning to make sure you make it home safe, you would be calling them.
Yeah.
They would care
And
too.
and I think that's one of I think that is the biggest. I want to roll into the plan of action because I try to end every well, I planned to end every Griot Seed talk show with a plan of action. I don't like just to get up here and talk stuff because we've been dropping jewels over this 40 minutes and 20 seconds, you know what I'm saying, and counting. And so I like to have a plan of action, but I do want to piggyback and add on to what you said. I think that is the biggest common foundation, especially with black men and women that we have when we date, is that we've been taught when you hurt, make sure you hurt.
Mhm.
You
That's
hurt right back. We haven't really been taught collectively when you hurt, try to heal the situation. It's like it's the example I get this example a lot. Like I got 3 children. If one of my children and I were walking down the street and someone just ran up and just stole on them and knocked them out, my first inclination would be, man, I'm gonna try to hurt this person.
that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of healing one of my children who got knocked out. And that's the same thing in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you get hurt, is your first instinct, okay, I gotta hurt back? Or is it to like calm down and be like, how can I heal this? Like whether it's giving suggestions to the other person, how they could talk to me better. Like that's not really cool to talk to me like that, and give them opportunities to heal it before you blast. Now, I'm not trying to say be no sucker now, because I'm not like that either. But I will give people a couple passes. I will try to teach them how to talk to me better. And if they ain't taking those lessons, and then I'm gonna blast. I really strive not to do the Tupac approach to dating. Blast first, ask questions last. Laugh now, cry later type stuff. But so when we talk about the plan of action, based on what we talked today, when you're dating, you know what I'm saying? Knowing that you have things in common between men and women that we often move, you know what I'm saying, alike in relationships and trying to acquire a relation. What based on what we talked about, what you think the plan of action is when you're dating?
To be honest and upfront with your intention.
Hmm.
That's the best. The best plan is just to be honest and upfront
With your intentions.
with your
Okay.
intention.
What if you don't know your intentions? Seriously.
And be honest and upfront and say, I don't know my intentions. I don't know if I'm
Exactly.
in a relationship or I just want to hit or I just want somebody I can hang out with. I'm not sure
Exactly.
where I'm at. So you may not want to invest any feelings into me because I'm not sure that I want to invest feelings into you. If a person even says just that I don't know, that at least lets you know you shouldn't probably go any further and get too invested because they might not want to go there.
Until they do know.
Yeah, and if
Yeah.
the plan of action changes, like say you don't know, and then at some point you say, okay, we've been dating for 2 3 weeks. I like you. Let's try to date for real. Or it can go 2 or 3 weeks, and you saying this is not gonna work. I kind of want to be out here for the streets. Let her know, so that way she might say, okay, I'm gonna be in the streets with you, and when I see you, and or no, it's not going to work because I want something serious with you, or vice versa, male, female, however you're going to do it. But if you're open and honest with your intentions from the beginning, and once they change, and I think again, people have to understand too, is you can't expect for someone to change because you feel like you're treating them so good or things are going so good that their intentions will change just because you feel like you've done a great job of changing them. People can't change unless they want to change. So I think that's
Mm.
another thing that hurts relationships and hurts dating is when people think they can change the other person when they were upfront with you about their intentions.
Mm. Oh. All right. It ain't a competition, but I'm glad that you started that off. Yeah, it's good. I'm gonna follow up and just to add on to what you said. That was good. That was real good. That was a nice little 1 minute TED talk. I will say that the plan of action when you're dating is don't assume because it's a man or a woman that they have a set of characteristics and then expect them to act a certain way because they are a man or they're a woman. I think the plan of action should be is talk about what your triggers are, talk about what you appreciate, what you don't appreciate, talk about what hurts you, talk about what heals you, and make that be the theme of the whole entire relationship. Because then you'll be able to know a lot sooner or a lot accurately what you actually want. A lot of times we don't know what we want is because not everybody is sending their true self. They're sending a representative. You know what I'm
True.
saying? When you dating, a lot of times you're not even sending you're sending a liaison. You be like, you know, hey, is this logic? You mean you be sitting down on the date? It's like, yo, no, this ain't logic. This is liaison. You know what I'm saying? Because people be trying to front too much. And I strive to be as honest as possible and as appropriately as I can for the time being. I know not to dive too deep into, what I've been through or my trauma or something like on the first or second day. That's just weird. You know what I mean? So, but at the same time, if people are saying and doing things that you don't like, it's very important that to let them know that that triggers you. Or, I mean, your conversations should be very active. The participation shouldn't be so passive that y'all ain't get to know each other. Like do active participation. You know what I'm saying? Activities, walking and talking. You know what I'm saying? Um, you know, if you just want to Netflix and chill or just go to the movies or do something like that, then just say, man, I'm just looking to hang out with somebody. You know what I'm saying? To have that kind of bonding. And that, a lot of time that gets a bad name too. You know, we got to remember is that people are dating, and specifically black people, we want to just we want to be loved. We want attention. And um based on our childhood, sometimes that's really hard to get, and it throws us off. When we get love and attention, then we start to think that it's something that is not sometimes,
Yeah.
So, like you said, you got to be honest, about what hurts you, what heals you, when it's appropriate. And you got to practice these things. Like a lot of people be dating and making the same mistakes when they date and getting the same results and think they ain't got to go back and look in the mirror and practice. Like practice. Like there's a reason why nothing is changing because you're not practicing replacement behaviors. You're doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the other person to change and you stay the same. That's just clumsy.
That's true.
We got to do this again though, man, because this was hot.
So
You
look,
know what I mean?
uh,
So
we'll record again and we'll do it on my show.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. Invite me. All right. Well,
Okay.
that's it. C Talk. We out. Make sure that you like, follow, do whatever you supposed to do. I got my Cash App up there, $ Logic. I mean, if you want to donate, to our time on this show, I'm at Logic. I'm in on Venmo and whatnot. But we appreciate y'all. We out. Love y'all.